Hi, I'm Bradley Cooper, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome to the Broadway.com show, your weekly guide to everything Broadway, or as we like to think of it, the place where costumes are apparently part of the job. Let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Lindsay?
Keira Knightley is having a great week. The Oscar nominee revealed she took a girl to her high school prom, and she doesn't give a f what you think. But the best news of all, Knightley is making her Broadway debut in the new Roundabout Theatre Company revival of Thérèse Raquin by Helen Edmondson in fall 2015. We're hoping this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, Keira. Oh, and you can sing too? Yep, we're gonna be best friends.
If you thought the puppet sex in Avenue Q was shocking, wait till you get a load of this. Robert Askin's raunchy play, Hand to God, which stars a demonic, foul-mouthed sock puppet, will open at Broadway's Booth Theatre in April. Star Stephen Boyer won an Obie Award for his performance as Shy Jason, a young man battling with his possessed sock puppet, Tyrone, in a small, Bible-thumping Texas town. Boyer, along with the rest of the cast from the show's recent run at Off-Broadway's MCC Theatre, will return for the Broadway production, which will begin previews on March 12th, 2015. Let us pray.
Michael Frayn's theater farce Noise is Off, which was originally set to slam doors on Broadway this season, has now set a date to do the same next season. The Roundabout Theatre Company revival, featuring Tony winner Andrea Martin, was previously postponed from its spring 2015 bow and will now start performances on December 17, 2015, with opening night set for January 14, 2016. So basically, sit tight. It's not coming anytime soon, but when it does, get ready to laugh.
Tony winner Victoria Clark and three-time Tony nominee Dee Hoty will be saying a prayer every night with Vanessa Hudgens in the Broadway-bound Gigi. The Eric Schaefer-helmed production, adapted by Heidi Thomas, will open at Washington's Kennedy Center early next year. If you haven't already, check out the classic 1958 movie musical, which won 9 Oscars, to see why you'll be thanking heaven, along with the rest of us, that this musical is heading to the Great White Way.
Disgraced won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama earlier this year, and this week it made its Broadway debut at the Lyceum Theatre in a stellar production that stars Hari Dillon, Gretchen Mol, Josh Radnor, and more. I talked to the stars on opening night about broaching such hot-button topics as Islam and race in the drama.
I don't think that what we're trying to do or what IAD's trying to write is telling audiences what to think, but in a sense, find out what they feel.
Hey, this is Josh Kaufman, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Actors play dress up for a living, and most of them got their first taste at slipping into a character back on the Halloweens of their childhood. In this week's Pop Poll, we asked some of our favorite stars on the red carpet recently to think back to their top kitty get-ups. Roll clips.
I think I had a Casper the Friendly Ghost once.
I went as a pot of Play-Doh.
Oh, when I was like really young, I was rocking the vampires and the Dracula. I loved the blood.
I did Headless Horseman. We had this huge black cape, and I had like a pumpkin head.
I was a tramp, and maybe burnt cork, you know, like Emmett Kelly over the face.
About 2 years ago, I made a headless Marie Antoinette costume.
I played a Jewish grandmother from Florida, and I carried pictures of my nieces pretending they were my grandchildren.
I dressed as Santa Claus one year, and I got a lot more candy than usual.
My mother, God bless her, made me this like white satin toga that I wore to a Halloween party, and I was the toast of the town.
Second grade, I was a stoplight, and my dad, who's right over there somewhere, built it. My dad built a stoplight from scratch, and it worked.
I was obsessed with clowns when I was a kid, and so I was a clown like 6 years in a row.
I think coming as myself terrified enough people in the neighborhood, believe me.
We need to talk about a Grammy winner who's an alien, a legal alien, an Englishman in New York. Every breath he's taken for some time has been devoted to launching his new musical, The Last Ship. Inspired by his childhood experiences, the show has officially set sail on Broadway at the Neil Simon Theatre. Sting, you are our star of the week.
The buzzy and blossoming relationship between Broadway.com and Culturalist is already the talk of the town, and we're ready to celebrate our first holiday together, Halloween. Last week, we asked you to rank the best new Broadway-themed Halloween costumes of 2014. Broadway.com video producer Anthony Taylor kicked off this week's challenge and ranked A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder's Lord Adelbert as the best costume. But I think Hedwig's Berlin Wall costume is the ticket to good trick-or-treating this year. Here is what you guys picked. At number 10, Jasmine from Aladdin. 9, Billie Holiday from Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. 8. Aladdin from Aladdin. 7. Eponine from Les Miserables. 6. Sally Bowles from Cabaret. 5. Yitzhak from Hedwig and the Angry Inch. 4. Genie from Aladdin. 3. Daisy, Violet from Sideshow. 2. MC from Cabaret. And topping the list at number 1, Hedwig from Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Check out this week's Cultural List Challenge on Broadway.com and check back for the results every Wednesday on the Broadway.com show.
Our tweet of the week comes from on-the-town funny lady Jackie Hoffman. And if you thought she stops cracking jokes when the curtain comes down, you'd be wrong. Totally wrong. Jackie writes, "Just the smell of the halal truck causes me to lose my balance. Hashtag a halal of a town." Oh, Jackie, when you're back on your feet, would you mind picking us up some kebabs? And some rice. And one of those whole wheat pitas, and some of that sauce, you know the kind. You can follow this halal-larious gal at Jackie Hoffman 16.
Thumbs up to NBC for bringing us Elf, Buddy's Musical Christmas, a brand new stop-action special inspired by the Broadway musical version of the big screen favorite Elf. Jim Parsons will provide the voice of Buddy, the North Pole orphan who heads to New York City in search of his father. The special will air on the Peacock Network on December 16th and is sure to be a new holiday classic.
We already knew it was a hard knock life for the orphans of Annie, but the producers of the new film update of the classic musical aren't making it any easier. This week, we're giving a thumbs down to the movie's silly and just downright wrong emoji lyric video, which we assume was meant to appeal to the youngins who text and speak in emoji. Listen, the song sounds good, but the lyrics are indecipherable. We know this adaptation of Annie is meant to be a little more hip and contemporary, but we're positive Martin Charnin never wrote "It's the Easter Island head statue, raised fist door, battery life" for us. Just saying.
I'm Jason Patrick, you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Pass the champagne, Peter Gallagher and Kristin Chenoweth are headlining the new Broadway revival of On the 20th Century, and this week's hot shot is an adorable first look at the stars all dressed up and ready to go. We can't wait to take this trip with them at the American Airlines Theatre this spring, although we tend to travel a little lighter.
In last week's SmackDown, we asked which screen star stepping into a Broadway musical you're more excited to see, Emma Stone in Cabaret or Michael C. Hall in Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Don't tell Mama, but Emma Stone came out on top with 64% of the vote. This week, it comes down to reality TV stars, that is. We want to know who you're more excited to see come to Broadway. The Voice winner Josh Kaufman, who finds his corner of the sky in Pippin on October 31st, or Big Brother's Frankie J. Grande, who will hit Rock of Ages with his best shot on November 10th. Tweet your vote to @BroadwayCom with the hashtag #BWaySmackDown and tune in next week for the winner.
That's it for this week's episode of the Broadway.com show. We'll leave you with a sneak peek of the new Encore's revival of The Bandwagon in rehearsal, starring Brian Stokes Mitchell, Laura Osnes, Tony Sheldon, and Tracy Ullman. See you guys next week.